Hello there and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be trying out a new eyeshadow palette from UCANBE. I purchased these myself, but I'm not sure if they said that they were going to send me one. If they do, and if I end up with two, I will do a giveaway, but for now I've just got the one. If you've not seen the palette yet, she's called the FORSEE palette. I absolutely love the aesthetics of this. Don't I sound like a right knob? The aesthetics of this. I know, I kind of felt cringy inside when I say that, but I really do think that, you know, this palette looks very arty and fun and colourful just from the front cover. This palette costs £7.59 as always. Prices do tend to fluctuate quite a lot on Aliexpress, so at the time that I purchased it, it was £7.59. Okay, so before I open her up, I do just want to kind of let you know that this palette is definitely a dupe of the Huda Beauty Nude palette. As soon as I spotted this on Aliexpress, the first thing that came to mind was the Huda Beauty Nude palette, and I've compared pictures of this palette and the nude palette side by side. They just look so similar. The only difference that I can see is that the shimmer shades look a lot more metallic and shiny in the Huda Beauty palette than they do in the FORSEE palette, but you never know, maybe the photos of the Huda Beauty palette were very oversaturated or probably edited. I don't know, I've not seen the palette in person, but yeah, that was the only kind of real difference I could spot. So this is what she looks like. You have a mixture of like very kind of deep, kind of, you know, warm shades, and then you've got the neutrals, and then you've got these really interesting kind of, you know, marbleized shadows, which, I mean, they actually look more interesting than they actually turn out to be, in all honesty, because I remember when I first tried one and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be amazing. It's going to look like tie-dye on my finger. But then really all that happens is the two different shades, they just kind of, you know, mix together to create another shade, and it actually makes it really difficult to use that kind of shadow because you never really know, well, what shade am I going to get? Whenever you're doing makeup, you know, you want to see the shade that you're going to get on your eye, but like with these it's a bit of a mystery because you're kind of just gambling really. Will I get a beautiful champagne or will I get plum? Who really knows? I think the palette looks really nice. I'm certainly really excited to try her out today. As I said earlier, I've not tried the Huda one, so you know, my comparisons between this palette and the Huda one are purely visual. By the way, I know my hair is looking so bad. If there's ever been a sign to anyone of what's going on in the world currently, it's my hair, because you look at my hair and you say, that girl, she's not leaving the house much these days. The lockdown hair. Oh my gosh, I forgot the most important thing about this palette because I got distracted with marbles. But similar to the Huda Beauty palette, it does have this really kind of quirky, unique looking shade just in the corner here. I know you're all going to be super intrigued with this shade, so I'm definitely going to be using it today. If I go in with my finger, it feels like bobbly. Like those little balls are actually little balls, because I think in the Huda Beauty palette they weren't kind of solid little balls. They were, they just gave the image of, I don't know what it gave, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that there's no consistency with that shade in the Huda Beauty palette, but anyway, it feels very soft, and that's what we've ended up with on our finger. The boys discovered this palette this morning, and both of them were just entranced with this shade here, which is why it looks a little bit beaten up right now. Which one are you looking at, guys? Yes. It does not look like makeup, does it?
I feel it.
I've still got to do my little video, you see. And I was like, no, guys, I've got to film with this palette. And this is the shade that everyone's going to be most interested in. It cannot be messed up. And they just carried on anyway, you know what I mean? So I'm going to show you the swatches now at the time of filming. Like now, I've not done the swatches. I'm going to be doing them at the end of the video. So I'm going to insert that footage now so that you can check them out. had a really lovely kind of magical moment when I opened this palette, because this little kind of leaflet fell out, and it's got my collaboration palette that I did with UCANBE on it, and it was just like rather a unique moment to open up an eyeshadow palette and then see your own face in there. I mean, even seeing my face on my palette was crazy, but yeah, it was just nice. I was like, oh yes, there's me. I just want to take the opportunity to say that, you know, being able to create this palette with UCANBE was one of the best gifts I've ever been given, and one that I am so grateful for. So, you know, UCANBE will forever be loved within my heart, but as always, that doesn't stop me from, you know, ripping their palette apart if it's shit. You know that, guys. If I don't like it, I'll just say. But on the other hand, you know I love UCANBE. I really do. So anyway, guys, without further ado, I'm going to set my eyes. I'm going to be using the Tone Activator by Kaleidos Makeup. I know, is everyone really shocked about that? Because I never use this. Also, guys, you may notice, I don't know if you can, but I've got like these red patches just underneath my eyebrows. I noticed my eyebrows were getting really out of control. So I use these. Let me show you these, because I want to tell you to watch out for these. Actually, I don't know why I put them back in my makeup drawer. They should be in the bin. But they're by Aliexpress, which is a very reputable kind of brand. And they're called the Brow Shapers Shaped Hair Removal Strips. So I used one of these to just under my brow. And literally, it's just left me with this kind of red patch, and it's burning, it's sore, it feels like sunburn. So I actually think that I must be maybe allergic or sensitive to, you know, whatever kind of glue they're using to rip out your hair. And do you want to know the most annoying thing about that? Wasn't that I've ended up with these painful, unsightly and quite concerning red patches under my eyebrows. No, the thing that actually irritated me the most was that it's not even removed my eyebrow hairs. So I went through all that, can you see? And it didn't even remove my eyebrow hairs. So do you know what I mean? That's... Oh, for fuck's sake! The fuck is this? I just found this in the cupboard and I thought I'll bring that up for my video. It tastes like shit. Just avoid this at all costs. It tastes like a freshly mowed lawn with a little bit of probably cat wee mixed into it. Also, you know, this should have been a bit of a warning to me that this is going to be shit. I have a really super cute new mirror today, so I'm going to be using this. I think to begin, I'm actually going to go in with one of the deeper... No, I won't. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the standard cool tone brown. Okay, so there we go. I've got a feeling, yes, these shades... Well, this shade, there's me just like trying one shade, well, not trying one shade, tapping off one shade and claiming they're all very powdery. No, this one is very, very powdery. So I'm just going to pop that... Oh, in my crease. Wow, look at that. I don't know why, but I did not expect... I didn't expect it to be like this brown. Because usually, you know, when you get these kind of cool tone brown, like, you know, your standard kind of transition shade, to me, like, they always end up looking a lot lighter than they actually are. But this one actually looks darker on the eye than it looks in the pan. Oh, I really like this. It's blending out beautifully. I just hope that these red, sore, irritated patches under my eyes are not going to cause me any problems today. Do you know what? That looks really, really nice. Yeah, so I would definitely say that this shade is a lot more like brown on the eye than it actually looks in the pan. And also, it's very pigmented indeed. Very pigmented. I thought I was going to have to be dipping in a few times, you know, to like... to build it up so it could be seen. But no, she's like a one dip kind of lady. It looks a lot browner over here than it looks over here, and it's looking a little bit patchy, so I'm just gonna spend a little bit of time just kind of working these, building them up, trying to get rid of this patchiness. But again, I don't know if this is due to that irritation that I've got, you know, under my eyebrows. So anyway, I'm just going to spend a bit of time now just kind of, you know, working these both. I'm actually taking this shade quite high up towards my brow because I have kind of mature eyelids I find that if I don't really take my shadows like, you know, kind of high up to my brow, you just kind of lose them when I've got my eyes open like this. So yeah, I've been going a lot higher recently, especially with my kind of transition shades. I'll just take them right up to the brow because you know what? I'm not playing around anymore. No, I'm just not. I want my hard work to be seen. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so I really do like this shade. However, I do think that it is quite patchy. And you know, as always, I will always hold my hands up to my mistakes or anything. But yeah, she's definitely looking quite patchy. Can you just see? Although I don't know if that, again, is just something to do with my fecked up, traumatized under eyebrows at the moment. Okay, so I really do like that shade, particularly how it's looking, you know, near my brow. It definitely blended out beautifully, but I'm just a little bit concerned about this patchiness. So next I'm going to take the same shade and I'm going to blend it out on my lower lash line. Wow, you do definitely get a lot of kick off with these shadows. Oh, goodness face. Like, this is the face I'm making. Why am I doing that? Like, why can I not just apply makeup with a normal face? Why do I think going like that is helping anything? Oh my gosh, do you know what? I really like this shade. It's blending out beautifully. Do you know what? I love it so much. I would be happy just leaving my eyes like this for today. Just like, yeah, done. Great palette. Or great shadow. Okay, so next we are going to go in with this shade here. It's kind of like a burnt orange shade. And as you can see, if you compare it to the one that we've just used, it definitely does look a lot richer, a lot more warm. And it definitely has that kind of, you know, burnt orange slash red slash I don't know what I'm talking about kind of look to it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? It's freezing in here and I don't know why it's so freezing. I am married to a heating engineer. So why am I sat in a freezing makeup room? Why? I should not have to be sat here freezing my titties off. Do you know what I mean? Na. Okay, so this is what that shade looks like. Again, we get a lot of kick off with this, so I'm just going to tap off my brush because I've got a feeling this is going to be just as pigmented as the last shade. So anyway, let's see, before I kind of judge it. So I'm going to be focusing this in my crease. I'm not going to be taking it as high as I took that first shade. And I'm taking it all the way from the edge of my eye to the inside of my eye. Do you know what? This brush is fabulous. This is by Coastal Scents. I mean, I don't have anything else by Coastal Scents. I know that they sell makeup, but honestly, like I'm going to Google Coastal Scents makeup brushes after this video. I've said it once before and I'm going to say it again. This brush is the best brush I've ever used. And look at that. I mean, I'm thinking, or maybe this is just like wishful thinking, but I feel like that burnt orange shade is kind of distracted a bit from the patchiness. Why am I so cold as well? I'm freezing, guys. Okay, so Honey's has been up. I don't know what he did with the radiator. I think he just kicked it. And he took the curtains behind the radiator to try and stop the Arctic breeze that's coming in. Oh, sorry guys. I had a cheeky little biscuit when I was downstairs, you know. So next we are going to deepen the look up a little bit. And I'm going to go in with this beautiful, kind of like, it's a deep cranberry red. It's not like a ruby red. It's a cranberry red. It's like a berry red. I don't know what I'm saying again. Anyway, this is it. So I'm going to be using a smaller kind of domed brush. I don't know, I always find it funny. Whenever I say domed, I just find it funny. Okay, so guys, we're going in with the beautiful berry red. Do you know what? It's kind of nice having biscuits stuck in your teeth because every so often you'll just get a little biscuit crumb coming in your mouth and it's kind of like, yes. Okay, so I've got the red on my brush and I'm just going to, again, be focusing this on the outer area of my eye. And then I'm going to just kind of take it inwards a little bit. I'm not too sure if I'm loving this shade, honestly. I really love the other two. I think if it was like a red, it would work. But because it's like a berry red, I'm just feeling like she is making the look not as grungy as I was hoping it would be. She's very pigmented though. I mean, look at that. Can you see? Generally, I do like UCANBE eyeshadows, particularly the Cellophane palette, which if you've not tried her, you really need to. The Cellophane palette, simply amazing. I do find with a lot of other UCANBE eyeshadow palettes, the shadows are great, but they're not very pigmented, so you have to kind of work to build them up, which, by the way, I don't mind that. I think that at some point, about 4 years ago, everyone on YouTube suddenly got really obsessed with the idea that every single eyeshadow had to be pigmented to be good, whereas I don't think that's the case. I think it's personal preference. Some people, probably, you know, professional makeup artists, they probably prefer pigmented shadows because they can get to where they want to be a lot quicker, whereas for me, like an amateur in makeup and not very skilled, I kind of prefer having a shade that maybe isn't so pigmented and that you can kind of really take your time and build up slowly. So, you know, if you do make a mistake, it's not like the end of the world. I am actually very surprised by how pigmented these shadows are. I am very impressed indeed. But yeah, definitely a little bit surprised by this level of pigmentation. Okay, so I am really liking that. I actually now think that the berry red, it works. So she can stay. I'm going to blend her out a little bit more. I think I'm actually going to pop a little bit more of the berry red under my eye. I'm going to just focus that on this outer bit, but I actually really like it now. I'm making this face now. Like, why am I making this face? I just don't know why. I think looking like a pirate is going to help me blend my eyeshadow. I don't do the face, Anwen. I'm making a conscious effort not to do the face now because I'm doing it. Oh my gosh, okay. As soon as the brush touches my skin, the face happens. You know what? I'm really interested to see the swatches now, because I bet the swatches were absolutely amazing. Oh yes, oh my gosh, such a good decision. I'm not afraid to self-congratulate myself when I feel like I made a good decision, because I make so many bad decisions. I've got to take it when I make a good one. Okay, so I'm going to pop on some of this black eyeliner just to really make my eyes pop. What kind of face am I going to make for this, do you think, guys? Oh, I'm going to like this. This is the eyeliner face. Oh, I'm doing it again. Why? A little tip for if your eyeliner isn't really working, I just do a little bit of a scribble on my hand, and that seems to waken it up, because sometimes I think eyeliners just go to sleep, and when you try putting it on your waterline, they just don't want to wake up. So I always just like do a little bit on my hand. I don't know why that helps. I don't know. I think it's because it's a little bit wet or moist on your eyeline, so maybe it just needs waking up on your hand. I don't know, guys. That was probably the worst tip. Okay, so there we go. Next we are... Actually, I have no idea, because I said next we are before I'd even considered what we're doing next. But I think I want to go in with a shimmer on the lid. I am going to create a cut crease today, just because, you know, the shadows all around my lid are really kind of dark and intense and grungy. So I think a cut crease would really help, just to stop things looking a bit muddy and a bit like, wow, like what's going on? She's thrown every single shade in the palette at her eyes. So I'm just going to pop the cut crease on, and then I think, you know what? I think I may go in with like this super light champagne shade, because I want to try out, of course, the little bobbles. So I thought if I try the super light champagne shade, we could try the bobbles out on top of it, because I think the bobbles are going to be like a topper shade. Do you know what? Let me just swatch these now properly, because I want to know what they're actually like. Can you see one of the balls has come off on my finger? So, okay, if I rub the ball, oh my gosh. Oh, you've got two distinct shades there. You've got like the pink and the gold. Okay, so this definitely actually is not the look I'm going for today. It feels quite, not rough, but it's quite difficult to blend. I mean, that looks so beautiful. No one can deny that is a beautiful, beautiful shade, but it's not it's not the shade I want today. So I'm going to kind of save this for another time. And I really hope that you don't hate me, because I know everyone's so intrigued to see this shade. But like you can see it there. And I feel like I've kind of got the measure for it. She is beautiful, but she's just not, she's not what I want today. You never know, maybe I'll change my mind. That happens often. So, oh, she looks so good though. I don't really want to wipe her off my hand. I am noticing, you know, as I'm wiping, you know, usually, you know, with like cream shadows, you wipe and they just come off instantly. This one definitely is proving a little bit tricky to come off than usual. I've got a sneaky suspicion she may be prone to staining your eyes, and I am having difficulty here kind of wiping her off. I feel like potentially she could feel quite heavy maybe on the lid, or, you know, just a bit sticky. I think sticky is probably what she would feel like. I did a cut crease, I covered the whole lid. I'm going to go in with this shade here, which, ooh, she feels so soft. Okay. Okay, so she looks quite chunky. I mean, she's nice, but she looks chunky, and I'm backtracking because I actually don't want to apply that one anymore. Not because like I think she's going to be bad, but she's just a bit chunky. So let me try this kind of gold and champagne marble shade. This is so soft. Do you know what? That is completely different to the other shimmer. This one feels more like a jelly, you know, like a very creamy, smooth formula. Whereas this one just, it feels like your traditional kind of shimmer. So yeah, I love the feel of this. And can you see the difference? This one just looks a lot less powdery. Like they're very similar shades, but this one just looks a bit chunky. And this one looks smooth. So I'm going to go in with the smooth because it's a no-brainer. I am almost 36. I have eyelids that have seen a lot of things, been through a lot. And I need to have a non-chunky shadow on my lid just to try and help me along a little bit, you know. So I'm actually going to go in with a tiny little brush. Like, I don't even know if this is really going to do much. I generally, for shimmers, I will use my fingers, but just to try it, I'm going to go in with a brush first. Oh my gosh, that's nice. Can you see? Oh, do you know what? I really, really like that. And here's me before, you know, bitching about the marble shadows that, you know, you don't really know what you're going to get, and it's a gamble. But do you know what? I actually really love this. The formula's brilliant. And I think if, because I'm not swatching it, I don't know, but I've got a feeling that the darker colour in the pan, I think that's what you would actually end up getting. That's my suspicion. It's also picking up extremely well on this brush. Oh, do you know what? I kind of dipped into the lighter champagne area, and there is a difference. Well, why am I saying that as if it's a surprise? Like, oh yes, so I went into a different shade that visually we can see is different, and the shade is actually different on my lid. Oh my gosh, like seriously, it's someone, let everyone know Einstein is still alive. Okay, so this is the champagne-y kind of area. Do you know what? I think that looks absolutely beautiful, and I hope that you can see how flattering this actually is on more mature eyelids, because it's not chunky, because it's very smooth. It just looks extremely flattering because it doesn't clog up in, you know, your creases or anything. I really love it. Okay, so because we are reviewing this palette today and I want to try as many of the shades as possible, I'm going to give this shade here a try. I'm just going to swatch it. I've got a feeling this is going to be more of like a plum shade. Oh, it's kind of like an antique gold. Okay, so I'll just swatch this one. Do you know what? I should probably swatch the palette first before I do the eye look, because then I would kind of know what to expect and know what I'm working with. You know what? Next time I'm going to do that. Lesson learned. This is a beautiful kind of antique gold, so I am definitely going to go in with some of that. I'm just going to pop this on the outer area of my eye. I can't believe how well this is actually going on with a brush. It looks nice, but I can't really see that much difference between this and the gold, although actually the gold is like a yellowy gold, whereas this is more of like a dulled down kind of greenish kind of gold. Yeah, I don't think that actually did a whole lot. So I'm going to replicate what I've done on this eye, on this eye. I'm going to maybe do a little bit of a wing, mascara, the total shebang, and then I'll be back to give you my final thoughts on the palette. Okay, so I'm just about to apply my eyeliner, and I just, again, this is probably a really unhelpful tip, but if you have a kind of more mature lids like mine, or just very kind of hooded, problematic lids, then I will only do like a very small line just at the corner. Watch now, it's going to end up massive. But another tip as well is, one of the reasons why I don't wear eyeliner a lot, well, there's probably the biggest reason, is that I'm shit at it and I can't do it and it fucks up every time. But the other reason that I convinced myself is the reason why I don't use eyeliner a lot is because I find that, you know, when you've got like a thick heavy line on your top waterline, I don't know, is it still a waterline if it's at the top, who knows, but the thicker the line, the less you see your lashes, and I'm not a fan of false lashes. So you know, for me, if I draw a thick black line, it just disguises my fabulous eyelashes that I want to show off. And I would personally much rather have fantastic, fluttery, intense lashes than have a black kind of, you know, eyeliner. So I just do like a little wing, and then I bring it in like here so that I don't have to then carry it on, you know, and do like a whole line. So that's just my little tip from me to you. If you know, don't like using eyeliner because of the black line, and not just because you can't do it, you know what I mean? And there's no shame in not being able to do your eyeliner. It's really tough. I mean, really tough. I feel like you should have to get like a master's qualification and then a PhD in eyeliner technique, because it's so difficult. I honestly feel like it would be easier for me to get a PhD in neuroscience than it would do 2 perfect matching symmetrical wings. You know what I mean? Anyway, here goes nothing, guys. Oh, just another tip that nobody really needs. But when I do my eyeliner, instead of going like this, I'll always do it in this position, which is like how my eyes naturally will sit. Because if I go like this, it's kind of stretched. And then when I go like this, the line just disappears in between my crease. So I always just do it like looking face on, so that I know how it's going to look when I'm kind of doing my usual facial things. Because you know what? I don't usually talk to people like this. Usually I'm just like this. So I want it to look good when I'm like this. Okay, so I've really fecked this up, guys. Like, I've really fecked it up this time. This has not gone well at all. I definitely need to go study at university to be able to get this to work. I really fecked it all up, guys. I did. And now I have no choice but to go in and do a thick line. Okay, so I am back. I finished the look. I ended up having to create the biggest, baddest black eyeliner ever. And it still looks bad, but do you know what, it's fine. I'm just a little bit sad that it's maybe distracted or taken away from the eye look, but do you know what, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. I absolutely love this palette. I think she is stunning, like literally stunning. Can you tell I've been watching a lot of Juno Birch recently? If you are not familiar with Juno Birch, check her out. She is hilarious. I am so impressed with this palette. She is so much more pigmented than, you know, your typical UCANBE eyeshadow palette. The mattes were really easy to work with. They blended out beautifully. We did have a little bit of patchiness with this first shade that I used, but I really liked every single shade that I used. I love the colours, but I love how easy they were to apply. So I would say if you've been eyeing up this palette and you've been really intrigued to give it a go, or if you really wanted the Huda Beauty nude palette, but you know, you just couldn't justify the expense, I would definitely 100% urge you to give this palette a go, because I can't really see how you'll be disappointed. The shades, if anything, end up looking a bit darker around the eye than they look in the pans. Just everything for me was top marks. So I'm really pleased that I got to try this palette today. I will definitely be using her a lot more in the future, and I would definitely recommend her. So I think, in spite of my ridiculously dramatic eyeliner today, and in spite of my irritated red patches, and I'm trying to think what else did go wrong. I don't think anything did. I've got an itchy eye though. Oh my gosh. Yes, so in spite of everything, this whole look for me turned out so well, and I'm so happy with it. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate you watching the video today. I've still got an itchy eye and it's so distracting. Oh my gosh. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you've tried this palette. What did you think? Because I'm always really interested to know what other people think about the makeup that I like, and also it's good for everyone else as well to maybe get another opinion. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.